For anyone who has seen this show, you had right next to you your co-host, Robbie Suave, who I know well, and but on this topic, he pretty much has been defending Israel vociferously, and you and he have had some very strident arguments. In fact, often, almost the kind that you wouldn't expect for two co-workers to have, because that's how open these disagreements and disputes were. That was out. Can you talk a little bit more, though, about the idea? Because obviously, if the Hill could point to the fact that your commentary on Israel was harming their ratings or their views or their profit, that would be one thing. But talk a little bit more about what that data shows.
Yeah, not at all. In fact, the numbers at the Hill have been down significantly again since this whole staff turnover earlier this year, in part because it almost feels, frankly, like they've been trying to sabotage the show for a long time. For example, that edict came down earlier this year that we weren't allowed to respond to clips. And as you know, Glenn, so much of doing a kind of an internet show is responding to, viral clips, whether they're, Tucker Carlson sat down with an interview with Thomas Massey, or Whoopi Goldberg said something silly on The View. I mean, that's so much of what the coverage is. But there was this decision to not disallow us from doing that. That caused a real steep decline in the kinds of segments we could do. There have been I've been outright told that certain kinds of guests couldn't come on. For example, I was told that Norm Finkelstein, you brought him up earlier, the foremost scholar on Gaza in the entire country, if not the world, was banned because they said he was a, quote, Holocaust denier. This is someone whose parents survived the Holocaust themselves. So this is the kind of pressure that we've been under. And as much as you see me arguing with Robbie on air, that is our job. In many ways, it has been more tense behind the scenes because of the editorial control that they have been trying to wrest over me personally. I think Robbie, frankly, he'll speak for himself at some point, I'm sure, but has been under a lot of pressure to push back against me in ways that maybe are even artificial to his own belief structure, because the show desired, people at the company desired there to be balance, even if this is not necessarily an issue where there are both sides. And I think that's ultimately what led to the interview, which is being held up as the pretext for my firing.